16th President of the University of Liberia,
as a visitor of the University of Liberia, and upon recommendation of the said meeting and confirmation of my nomination by the Board of Trustees of the University of Liberia, I present to you Dr. Layli Maparyan. This is symbolic of the authority, obligations, and responsibilities as the 16th President of the University of Liberia. And I wish you vigilance and wisdom.
We'll now call on Dr. Layli Maparyan, our 16th president of this, our great institution, to bring us her inaugural address.
Your Excellency, if I may stand on all protocols so beautifully observed by others, as I begin. Thank you. It is with the utmost honor and gratitude that I accept the presidency of the University of Liberia. And I am thankful to His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai, the university's visitor, to the UL Board of Trustees and its designated Presidential Search Committee for placing their trust in me to steer the nation's flagship university back on course to its true destiny. The University of Liberia, once a legendary as a jewel of West African higher education, was decimated during Liberia's civil conflict and since then has been in a process of rebuilding. That rebuilding process has continued across all of my predecessors, each of whom contributed something of lasting value to the university's forward momentum. Each is to be commended for their contributions and the blood, sweat, and tears that they gave to this institution. Dr. Al-Hassan Kante, my immediate predecessor as acting president of the university, dedicated himself not once but twice to this institution as its leader, and during his first term, established the University of Liberia's endowment. His successor, the late Dr. Emmett Dennis, oversaw the rehabilitation of Fendel campus through the cultivation of external investment and welcomed Liberia's first post-war Fulbright, me, to UL, thus establishing the imprimatur of global engagement and international partnership, which lives on to this day. His successor, Dr. Ophelia Weeks, launched the University of Liberia's Gender Studies program, a visible symbol of UL's commitment to gender equality and women's leadership. Yes. Additionally, her commitment to the sciences, to the STEM disciplines, attracted new resources to the university, creating opportunity for numerous faculty and students alike. Her successor, President Julius Nelson, managed the university's quick transition to a school that is tuition-free for Liberian undergraduates, thus widening access to education without prejudice for socioeconomic status or family wealth. I might add that President Nelson also gave me a very warm UL athletic jacket that has kept me warm on many a cold Massachusetts day, and I've proudly worn it singing the praises of the University of Liberia for many years. My bigger point is this. It takes all of us to make the University of Liberia great. It takes all kinds of people with all kinds of talent. Media. You have endured intermittent pay and intermittent internet access. People imagine themselves at UL because of you. And you are perhaps UL's best recruiters because you can tell the personal story of UL. And you care enough about UL to support your alma mater, whether in spirit or materially. Your role in the University of Liberia ecosystem is essential and cannot be denied. You are a force and a constituency unto yourselves, both at home and abroad, and of excitement deep down in my spirit. As soon as my foot touched the ground, I felt a sense of electricity, a kind of elation that is hard to explain. As I often tell people when I recount this story, I fell in love with this place immediately. On my second day in Liberia, I went with my delegation from Atlanta to the JFK Hospital, where it had an internationally renowned woman president. He said, "Not yet." And I said, "May I help with that?" On the basis of that conversation, Dr. Dennis requested a Fulbright specialist, and I was selected. I returned a year later with a group of study abroad students, and over 13 weeks conducted a feasibility study for a gender studies program at the University of Liberia to secure the 5-year, $5 million Higher Education for Conservation grant from the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID. The purpose of HECA, as it is known, is to accelerate forestry, biodiversity, and conservation, or FBC, education in Liberia to better enable us to conserve the rapidly the experiences and perspectives of women of African descent from around the world. I've published 3 books on this subject, and the most recent one came out Monday of this week. After 2 professorial jobs in which I climbed the ranks from assistant to associate professor, First at the University of Georgia and next at Georgia State University, I took my third position at Wellesley College, where I was hired as president of the University of Liberia. I will bring everything I learned over the last 30 years as a professor, administrator, executive, and fundraiser to the benefit of this institution. My values in this capacity are the 5 E's, and please memorize these. Education, effectiveness, efficiency, excellence, and ethics. More than likely, that won't change. However, since I arrived less than 1 week ago, my sense about the urgency of certain issues has increased, and now I am inclined to add some action items to my first 100 days to-do list. I see these as items to get UL back up and running after a long and difficult hiatus, so that we position ourselves for some of the important longer-term things that will inevitably be required to get this flagship university on track to full. It's impossible to do your job if you are worrying about whether you'll be able to pay your rent, afford food, get transportation, or pay your kids' school fees, so it helps the entire campus community to get this right. Third, I plan to regularize UL's academic calendar so that it is predictable and dependable year in and year out and coordinates well with other institutions in Liberia and internationally. Students want to know when school is starting and when it is ending, as well as when commencement will be held. Students need to be able to plan, particularly when there are other opportunities waiting, such as jobs, fellowships, and graduate study. We hamper UL students' progress and peace of mind when the academic calendar is unpredictable, and I intend to fix this promptly. Fourth, and don't laugh, I feel strongly about ensuring safe and well-functioning bathrooms around campus, with adequate sanitation supplies to support public health and the comfort and dignity of the university community. It is impossible to work or study when plagued by the call of nature. New bathrooms may not happen overnight, but I will begin working on it ASAP and keep it a high priority. All I ask of the university community, students, faculty, and staff, is that you help by doing your part to keep things clean, healthy, and beautiful, which is a way of showing love and respect for our campus. Their gender balance has been considered and what we are doing to achieve it. Gender balance doesn't just mean equal numbers. It also means equal power, equal accomplishment, equal consideration, equal contribution, and equal safety. It is hard to achieve gender balance overnight, but if you don't start early and strong, universities are about disability inclusion and empowerment. And at UL, we will take concrete actions to serve the needs and aspirations of students with disabilities in consultation with these students themselves. I invite the entire university community to be on board with me about this. I have many long-term goals and priorities, but time does not permit me to outline them here. During my first 100 days, I will share many of these goals and priorities with the university community and the public. Before the end of this calendar year, we will devise and launch a new 4-year strategic plan for UL to guide us along the path of institutional development. There will be time to get input from all stakeholders along the way, and forward his station and destiny were safeguarded. The great being saith, regard man as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom, unquote. Each of us is a mine